What up, everyone? It's Jesse back here from Art of Speed TV, doing a Project Supra update. Know it's been a while. Sorry for that. Definitely not the way I want to do things, but again, I do this as a hobby. It's not a profession. I don't care whether we monetize our YouTube channel. I don't really care whether or not I ever see a dime from any of this. I just want to document my process. And I want to share the build with anybody that wants to follow along. So, I have family members, friends that ask me about it all the time, and this is just the place where I'm going to do that. So content won't always be super consistent, but, hey, that's the way it works. So super excited to talk to you about some work that has been done to the Supra since the last time we did an update. I think the last time I did an update, I probably had done the fuel pump, and we had the whole interior ripped out of the car, and we were working towards sort of all of that stuff. Lots of stuff to show now, lots of exciting things to show. Some things I can't show yet because I don't have all the stuff to put it back together. But we're going to talk about some of the other work that I've done. So yeah, let's just kind of dive into it here a little bit and show you what's all going on. All right. Well, so first things first, you'll notice that I've got the new alternator installed. This is a high amp, 250 amp output alternator. JS Alternators supplied this. Super appreciative of their quick turnaround on this. Powder coated in a blue. That's a little bit of a sneak peek at what you can expect here. But you'll notice that there's a few other things going on here since the last time we talked. There's no timing belt any longer. There's also no cam gears. So what has happened? Well, we ran into our first real setback here. And basically what had happened is I was test fitting the ATI hub to see for ATI fluid dampener on the crankshaft to see if it needed to be honed. And it seemed like everything was going to be going really well there. So I went ahead and did a full test fit of the ATI hub without any of the stuff put together, just to see how it went on and off. Went on super smooth, would not come off, would not come off. So my 3-jaw puller I had just wasn't going to do the job. And ultimately in the process of trying to get enough torque on the 3-jaw puller, I was using the cam bolt, which is a mistake, by the way. I'm going to tell you, I'm on my mistakes here. They used the cam bolt to hold the engine from rotating, and ultimately it pulled the threads out of the cam lobe, at the end of the cam lobe. We'll see if we can see that here. It's going to be kind of difficult, but you can see, maybe it'll focus in for us here. Kind of hard to see, but basically about a 1/4 inch of thread was pulled out of both cam lobes. I was holding both cam lobes to take some load off of it, and it ended up pulling both of the bolts. So this left me in a place where I didn't have much choice, right? I had to pull the cams out, and then it really became a decision: do I stay with everything we're doing to this car? Do I stay with stock cams, or do I, do the upgrade? And so went ahead and did the upgrade. We got some Kelford cams coming. Super excited to do that work and talk to you a little bit more about that. I also added new springs. So we put all new spring. We're going to put all new springs in. They're dual spring, heavy duty titanium spring. Allows us to spin the car up to, the Kelford cam can go to 8,500 RPM. These springs will allow us to go up to 8,500 RPM. We're not going to spin it that fast. Talking with my tuner, John Rodabaugh, he told me we'll probably spin it to 8,000 RPM, which is fantastic. I'm super excited about that red line. And then we're going to go ahead while we're in there, and we're going to do all shimless buckets as well. So just some top of the head work. Originally, we had talked about this being a fully stock engine build to see what we could do. Unfortunately, just the project set me back in a way where it's just not going to happen. So yeah, so anyways, we're now in the process of removing the stock cams, which you can see here. We've pulled, the valve cover back off. We have pulled the cam gears off, timing belts off. And in the process of doing this, we're going to upgrade our idler tensioner, the stock timing belt tensioner pulley, with a billet piece from Powerhouse, along with a better idler pulley and bearing. And then we're going to go with the Powerhouse locking cam gears over the June cam gears that we had. We had June adjustable cam gears. That's what these guys are here. And, you know, these are great, but the problem with them, with any adjustable cam gear that's not a powerhouse, there's no way to lock it. So in theory, what can happen is you speed the engine up, it's going really fast. One of those Allen key, one of the 5 Allen screws or a number of those Allen screws loosen up just enough, and the cam gear slips 2, 3, 4, 5, however many degrees of timing it allow, and you have problems. So ultimately, you know, the best is truly, honestly, no adjustable cam gear and just going with like a straight like billet solid piece cam gear and letting your tuning software do all this work. But I decided I still wanted to have the adjustable cam gear just in case there's something else we want to do down the road. Plus, the powerhouse pieces are absolute works of art. So shout out to my boy Lance. He's sending those to me now. They'll be coming in very soon. A couple of other things that we've done on the car. Let me get back to the car view here. We have installed down here, if you look, you can kind of see it. There is the Powerhouse Racing Hall Effect crank sensor. We have put the Hall Effect crank sensor here on the rear of the head for the cam lobe, for the intake cam lobe. We have used the Powerhouse Racing oil pressure sensor extending kit to extend out the oil pressure sensor so that it's in a place where we can connect the ECU harness to it. We have added the oil filter relocation kit, which you can kind of see down in there. And it comes all the way up to the stock location here. You might have noticed some AN lines here. So we have upgraded off of the regular rubber lines for our power steering to all AN lines. We've also gone to this beautiful Powerhouse Racing power steering reservoir. This is needed in order for us to be able to clear the intake manifold from Plasma Man. So we did put this new beautiful Powerhouse Racing piece in. Looks fantastic. We then added up front, obviously we've done some test fitting here. Let me show you all if I can get it there. We put the ETS 4-row intercooler. Shout out to C-Force Performance for getting me that guy. And this is the one that we had the intake modified from Powerhouse to put a larger end tank over here. This is a 3.5-inch outlet on the cold side into this beautiful single solid piece polished intercooler pipe from Powerhouse Racing. We did have to, this comes up out of the stock battery tray location, so we did have to cut a hole in the chassis for that to work. We have added from HPS here all the water cap-offs. These are high-temp silicone, so these are not your typical seals that would give out under temperature, so they're going to hold up just like any other water hose would. Put those on the back of the head as well as on this coming out of the water pump down here. Not going to be able to see these very well, but I'll kind of take a shot. You can kind of see it right from the top here. That is the Powerhouse Racing 40-row transmission cooler or / oil cooler, depending on your use. If you don't have a automatic, you can switch that over to oil cooler and remove the factory oil cooler. And then it's got the supplemental, you can see the bracket for it over here, power steering cooling system as well. So basically we're going to keep our power steering fluids nice and cool. We're going to keep our transmission oil temps down. And obviously, as you can probably tell, with no radiator in there, there's more to come here. So I will be back with a future update to show you kind of what we did there. Okay, so we're still waiting on Firmworks to send us our wiring harness. Supposedly that's going to come this week. So hopefully we're in business with the wiring harness and we're back to a place where we're able to continue sort of finishing up the build out on this car. Got a few other things we can do to the car still, obviously the cams for one, and all the other front end stuff, we can kind of get that all put back together once we have that stuff from shipping. So the Kelfer cams are in transit right now. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about, I have decided to go with a constant tension hose clamp, and I did a test fit on these. So I'll show you these guys here. So if you see here, these are the Morimoto constant tension hose clamps for the couplers. This is a TurboSmart coupler. My couplers are not going to match because I bought TurboSmart couplers for this side because Powerhouse didn't send me the 3.5s, which is fine. And then I have their couplers for the hot side. So just kind of one of those things. So you can see where that pipe comes up and in. Yeah, so those are kind of some of the things we've done there. Okay, so as you can see, interior-wise of the car, we're still pretty well torn down. These seats are not bolted in right now, but Robert and his team over at GP Customs here in Lincoln did a fantastic job with these righty seat covers. I configured these, had them shipped. Took about 12 weeks to get them from righties. Robert and his team had them for about a month to get them all wrapped. I'm really excited to show you more of this, but we basically went with a black leather, Napa leather, with a charcoal logo with black suede inserts here. Obviously, we got the black carpet in, and it's had a chance to sort of form to the car. Haven't installed that permanently because I wanted as much flexibility and freedom with it until we got done there. May notice that the dash is all missing right now. There's more to that. I'll share that with you later. But yeah, the interior of the car is coming back together. We're getting close. Won't be much longer before we're done on the inside. Kind of hard to see here because I've got some stuff laying out in the back here and just in storage, but ultimately I've got my new rear cover from Powerhouse for the rear of the car. This is a really nice piece when you do the rear battery relocation, which you can see here. This hole here is where the rear battery tray is going to go. We'll be installing that in this giant aught gauge cable power wire here in the next few days. That's kind of the end of what I can do until I get the rest of the stuff from FirmWorks. So that's going to be kind of my point where once I have the battery hooked back up, essentially, I mean, it won't be connected, obviously, because you should leave that disconnected until you get done. But I'll have the power wire ran under the car. I got the new fuel hangers that we talked about in a previous update video. So all of that stuff is just about done. And we're just kind of plugging away at it here and there as we can. Obviously, the cams are a bigger project right now, so they're going to take my priority. But once I get all that done with the head and the cams, the rest of the stuff will just kind of line up nicely. We'll get as much of the car put back together. And hopefully it won't be too much longer before we're installing an intake manifold and a turbo. So that's going to do it for today. This has been an update to Project Supra. Again, appreciate you all staying with the channel. I appreciate you following us. If you like this video, give me a like down below. I mean, I don't really care, I guess, whether YouTube loves it or not. But obviously, I'm hoping that maybe somebody else will stumble along this and be interested in what we're doing to the car and my story with it. Possibly later on down the road, I'll be looking at doing a video talking about the cost breakdown for this whole build. And obviously, my theory or my philosophy when it comes to doing things like this. So lots more to share with you. I'll be back with more of those updates soon, but I just want to say thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you all in the next video. This has been The Art of Speed with Jesse. We'll see you later.